Welcome to Believe, the Conspiracy Theory Podcast. I'm Phil Green.
And I'm David Ferguson.
And this is a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories, isn't it?
Well, yes, except when it's about revealing the actual truth of what's really going on.
That's true, because David here likes to believe and I like to skeptic. However, sometimes we can both be persuaded the other way, can't we?
Oh, absolutely. I've been amazed. There are conspiracy theories that we've covered on this podcast and I'm going like, nah, even I can't back that one up.
Yeah, and there are some conspiracies where I've gone, actually, there's something in this. Today, that might not be the case, I've got to be honest with you, but let's see how this one pans out.
Absolutely.
There are definitely some we've both gone, nah. Now, each episode we bring on a comedian guest, and that guest picks a conspiracy theory they want to talk about. It might be a conspiracy theory they believe in, it might be a conspiracy theory they don't believe in, or
it might be a conspiracy theory they just think is crazy and they need reassurance to navigate it. And that's where Phil and I come in.
That's right. We have nothing to do during the day, so what we do is we research it for them, then we come in, we read out a load of facts we found on the internet and some stuff that's in your head, and they tell us whether or not they believe it.
Yeah. We help.
Simple.
It's community.
It's community. It's doing a service to them and a service to the world. Anyway, we have social media channels, don't we?
We do have social media channels, which is part of the community we've just mentioned. We are on TikTok,
Yep.
Instagram, and YouTube.
That's right. We are on TikTok. We are on TikTok. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram, and we are on YouTube. And what's our handle?
Believe Conspiracy Pod.
And it's where you can get in contact with us. We post regular content related to the episodes, videos, content relating to what we've been talking about, and we want you to comment on that. Tell us what you think about the conspiracies that we've been talking about. We want to know, don't we?
Absolutely. We want to know what you think. We want to know whether you agree with us, whether you disagree. If you've got the inside scoop on something, let us know. Like if you're an Area 51 employee, if you've seen an alien spacecraft, if you've seen Bigfoot, if you've seen Elvis, like let us know. We want to know what you think.
We want to know, absolutely. Let us know, and all we will do is put it out on a podcast that is accessible worldwide. That's all we're going to do with that information.
All we're going to do. Tell everyone.
Tell everyone. Also, let us know what conspiracies you want us to talk about. We know there's a load of conspiracy theories that we haven't got on our list, and we want to add to our list, and we want to find a comedian that wants to talk about that, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. We will make a comedian talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Comedians have a lot of time on their hands, and that is why this podcast exists, to fill that void in their life.
Yes. It's community service.
Absolutely. Now, I am doing a new work in progress show at the moment, my new stand-up work in progress show. It is going to be in Brighton on the 4th, 25th and 30th of May at the Temple. I'm also taking it to various dates in London, Chichester, Hastings, Folkestone, Tunbridge Wells, Guildford and a few other places in June and July, and I will be in Edinburgh for a couple of weeks in August. If you go to the show notes of any of our episodes, you will find a link there to tell you all about the shows, and also you can go on to philgreencomedy.com and find a link there as well. Now, we should give a big shout out to our tech.
We should.
The wonderful George! Yay! Who's been exhausted moving us into our new studio. We mentioned this in the last episode, so we won't want to go on about it, but we do love our new studio.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because there's no trains running over the top of it.
Yeah, it was very, very noisy before. Although there are trains nearby, so whenever we feel the need for that noise, we can just go outside.
We can go get our fix, absolutely. Now, who is our wonderful guest today?
Luke Chilton.
The fantastic Luke Chilton, a brilliant stand-up comedian. He's been a finalist in the BBC New Comedy Award. Mm-hmm. He was also shortlisted for the British Comedian of the Year. He's been in Hackney Empire's New Act of the Year as well. He's been on Radio 4. And he's also got his solo debut show out this year at the Edinburgh Festival. It's called Netflix and Chilton.
Oh,
you like that, don't you?
Oh,
you like that wordplay?
Oh, good wordplay. That's what I expect from a comedian.
Yeah. Oh. In fact, you won't go to see any show that doesn't have good wordplay in the title, will you?
No, if you can't play with words, what are you doing?
Yeah, I've seen you spit on the poster and walk away in disgust. Yeah. But not with this one.
No.
Now, Luke also knows this podcast very well because he's actually teched a couple of episodes of this podcast for us. He sat in George's chair and he has teched this podcast because the studio made him do it. And we said, no more should Luke stay in the darkness. Luke's voice needs to be heard and he needs to be seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So today, Luke Chilton is stepping in front of the camera. And what is the conspiracy that Luke has chosen?
The UN is plotting to kill us.
The UN is plotting to kill us. Let's bring on Luke.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
They're trying to brainwash you.
It's an urban legend.
Like if they're actually spraying something in the sky.
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Luke Chilton!
Yay!
Yes.
How are you,
Amazing.
man?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having my eyes opened.
Yeah, quite right.
Get rid of this mainstream.
We mentioned in the intro that you've texted this podcast before.
Yes,
And we
have.
said to the studio that no longer should you be kept in the dark. It's time for you to
Yes.
finally step into the light and have your say.
Yeah, look how the worms have grown.
Exactly.
Not to call George a,
Well, no,
a
George we
worm.
keep in the dark.
Nobody's the king of the dark.
I will
Yes.
step on people I used
Rightly
to.
so.
I'm above now.
New shoes.
Yes, new shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walked in with bright white trainers,
Yes.
dazzled us.
Yes.
I
yes.
thought they were beautiful.
They were beautiful.
Thank you.
But you felt insecure walking down the road in them.
Oh God, yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not good to have shiny new things.
No.
You're just waiting for the inevitable loss, aren't you?
Yeah, you are.
Which is why you should always just live a miserable, sad life. I think that's the message.
That's the message. You're right.
But I just love a new thing when that Amazon delivery comes or that eBay delivery or whatever, the Vinted delivery comes.
That's why you're prone to sadness.
Oh, yeah.
And melancholy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the new thing arrives, it's a new thing, and then it's just a thing.
Yeah. And then you need something else to fill that.
But I do.
Oh.
With another new thing.
I love that we crashed from the upbeat tone immediately. In this
Yeah.
podcast. I love
Yeah,
that.
fuck that.
I love what you brought to this, Luke.
Yeah, that's me, baby.
That's what we said. You've got to come out from behind the camera. You've got to have
But
your say
yeah,
on this.
yeah, make everyone sad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the reason I normally have a non-speaking role.
Yes. We were talking about your new show, which you've changed. The title is called Netflix and Chilton.
Well, the title might be. So I've already
be anything by August, who knows?
I went to my producer and I was like, I want to change it back to Netflix and Chilton.
Yeah.
But the deadline is passed, so they might just say no. In which case, I'll be very annoyed.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
So I can't even promote it on this podcast because I don't know what it's called.
Well, we promoted it for you,
Thank
so
you.
that's okay.
That was a joy.
That's all right, man. So you're going to
Look up Luke Chilton at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yes.
There,
Yeah.
you'll find him.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Although you say that, there's a Luke Chilton in comedy who's like a producer.
No.
What?
And he works for the BBC and he keeps moving to different jobs and he's ruining my life because I did some work for the BBC and they paid him instead of me. It's happened 3 times. And then he also got into an argument with a comedian. We got into an argument with Francis Foster, right?
Right.
And Francis Foster's obviously on trigonometry
Yeah,
or whatever. So Francis Foster just messaged me in the middle of the night being like, oh, you can do trans jokes but not rape jokes? And I was like, what? And then there was this huge, he screenshotted the argument and then I looked on it and they were just going back and forth on each other. And I was like, I'm not involved.
not me.
It's not
Crossfire.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
I can relate because I'm David Ferguson and my father is also David Ferguson.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so like having someone else just have your name. I mean, he had it first, to be fair, but like just it's just like
But oversight on him. You don't name your child the same. My dad had the same thing. His dad called him the same thing, and then we just had to call him something else.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
not.
it's just very confusing.
They weren't imaginative with names back in the day, were
No.
they? Really?
No.
It's a very Northern Irish thing.
Yeah.
So it is, you name your firstborn son after yourself, and it's like, oh.
I mean, your dad did open your porn.
What?
Oh yeah, we should give you some context there.
He wasn't looking for porn. So when I was a baby gay, over the
That's what they call them.
baby gay, I'm of the age before the internet really took hold. So they used to send stone to your house with porn on it. No, they used to send magazines to your house, and I ordered an online magazine of a physique pictorial. Let's say that, and it was addressed to David Ferguson. It was also my father's name, and
What did you do? You're like, that's yours, Dad.
well, my 2 things happened. My dad found out that I was gay, and he also found out what my type was, which is more than maybe you want to do when you come out. So that's my coming out story.
It's a hell of a discussion, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your type?
Big burly rugby players.
Nice.
I want to be.
You're out.
Yeah, no, I was offended, but that's fine. About Twinkie otters. Twinkies on the way to otter.
That's one for the YouTube viewers.
I could do otters. I could do otters.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank
they're
you
good
for-
with wood.
Yeah, I'll tolerate that.
Look, I'm so lonely. I would take a woman
nice.
at this point.
Yeah.
You'll do.
Yeah, you'll do in my desperate, lonely void.
It's the shoes. It's the shoes, Luke.
I have a really good friend. She's a good Catholic woman, and she says, "Oh, David, women aren't interested in sex. Just find yourself a good Catholic wife. It'll be fine." And I was, and in my loneliest hours, going, could I do that? Because you come out as gay and you think everybody's going to be there, and then no one's there. I'm no one's first choice. So.
And again, we dropped the tone. Excellent. Good. So, Luke, conspiracy theories.
Hell yeah.
What do you think of them?
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
You got to you got to challenge yourself. haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, you have.
You can't trust what
You can't trust.
You can't trust what you're told to trust.
God, no.
You got to look onto the dark side. That's
right, you
It might
have.
be the light side. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
An unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you hear a conspiracy theory, how do you, are you instantly intrigued by it? Like, especially when it's like a new one, because there's been quite a lot of new ones in the last few years.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm also like, you don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's like that whole thing where it's like, people go, like Richard Dawkins, where it's like, oh, religion's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't know how science works. so
because no one's proven science to you.
I don't know. It's just some
as
guy
good-
in a
yeah.
white coat. It's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, fucking science, bro. Like, that's just a religion. You know, like the way I do science.
You got to take it in faith.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
trusting these people.
I
They
mean, do you
might
know
just
how the
be-
internet works? Like,
No
no
idea. No.
No.
Also, when I was a kid, they were like, internet is bad. And now they're like, internet's source of every piece of information.
Yeah, it is.
Still bad, but
it is
also
bad.
good.
But we wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't, because
You're very good, yeah.
we know nothing.
Yeah.
Imagine if your dad accessed your smartphone to see it and found out you were gay that way. That would be
Oh, my
much
God.
worse than opening a magazine.
Well, actually, if my dad found I don't have any rude pictures on my phone, bar the ones that my friends send me to embarrass me. So like they'll send me like gay porn from Twitter, and they'll like
That's really sweet.
yeah, so we'll have back and forth. We'll be just having a conversation, and then they'll suddenly be in,
Are these gay friends?
yeah, like
Okay.
it's meant to be shocking.
Okay,
like,
right, okay, got it.
like,
Like
oh
a
my god,
gaping butt.
yeah, like, and I'm like, oh,
We were thinking of you.
right, because if you were to look at my phone, it's Barbie dolls, Joan Crawford, and Madonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a very innocent sort of aesthetic and vibe to you. Well, soul, actually, I think. I think
Well-
it's deeper. It's not just a surface
Oh, well,
thing.
thank you. Look,
It's my perception of you.
I mean,
might be wrong.
I'm still going to go to hell.
Yes.
I'm a dirty,
like
flaming
us all.
homosexual. Yeah.
Right, so this conspiracy, the UN is plotting to kill us. So, a theory that has gained significant traction in the last decade or so is the belief that the United Nations is orchestrating a plan to eradicate a significant portion of the world's population under the guise of sustainable development known as Agenda 21 or more recently, Agenda 2030. This theory, while embraced by some, lacks substantial evidence and is often thought to be rooted more in paranoia than reality.
Who's saying that? That's loaded.
Well, exactly.
That's loaded. I don't like that at all.
I mean, in this case, ChatGPT, but it could be
Yeah.
others.
Wait, you got this from ChatGPT?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
most
What?
of that stuff comes from ChatGPT. Well,
Which gets it from Wikipedia, which gets it from...
yeah. So what I do is
okay.
I get it from ChatGPT, and then I have to go and fact check ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, who knows who's writing ChatGPT? Who's coding ChatGPT?
Exactly. Yeah, these are the agents from the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
who's giving
Because
you
they
that.
caveat everything. Everything that tells you, there's always a caveat to it.
Yeah.
But I like your thinking already. He's already
yeah.
challenging it.
I'm a skeptic.
That's why we brought him out from the dark.
That's right.
Theorists argue that Agenda 21, a 30-year-old non-binding UN resolution that suggests ways for governments and NGOs to promote sustainable development, is the linchpin of a plot to subjugate humanity under an eco-totalitarian regime. One of its most outspoken critics, American Policy Center President Tom DeWeese, has described the resolution as a new kind of tyranny that, if not stopped, will surely lead us to a new dark ages of pain and misery yet unknown to mankind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not overstating it.
Yeah. Not unknown. Well, surely it'll still be better than, I don't know, the Dark Ages,
Well,
maybe.
also, yeah, if it's
It's
not
called the Dark Ages.
exactly, yeah. The clue's in the title. In
Yeah.
fairness, yeah. American Policy Center is on the political fringes, but anti-Agenda 21 sentiment is moving into the political mainstream, and that's kind of why we're talking about this one, because Agenda 2030. So Agenda 21 is what I just said. It was an idea about improvements to society, sustainable growth, that sort of stuff, equality. That was in 1992, I think. Is that right? And then it was updated in 2015 to Agenda 2030 because basically they hadn't delivered on any of it. So they were like, oh, we should probably rebrand this. And that's essentially what this is. So their plan, the theory behind their plan, so conspiracy theorists will say, is the theory that is that the United Nations will establish a new world order under its Agenda 21/2030 mission goals.
I've never, a new world order just means what? Different people in charge. That's what that, I've
A new, not necessarily different people in charge, but the people that are in charge controlling everything. Yeah. So items on the agenda include a one world government,
Okay.
a single cashless currency.
That's actually pretty
I
good.
like that
That's
idea.
actually
Yeah,
pretty good
that one I was like, yeah, that's all right. Government-owned and controlled schools, colleges and universities, and an end to single-family homes.
Okay, so this is quite a left wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some
Tories
would-
aren't going to like that.
No, they're not going to like that. No.
State school, universal around the whole world? No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it's communism on crack, essentially,
Yeah.
is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the single currency thing. I was like, that's a good idea.
It's just fucking no exchange rate.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Also, I hate it when you go to a country and you don't realize they have not the euro or dollars. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what this is.
It's a nightmare when you
and
get to
like, it's
Thailand,
like
isn't it?
10,000. I'm like, I can't keep track of what value is with such big numbers. Like, and then you pay way too much.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be very against cashless society, very against that, and I actually still, that would be one of my beliefs, that we shouldn't have a cashless society. However, the moment I changed over paying everything with my phone, my life transformed,
Yeah.
and I hate myself because it's like, I just love the magic game of it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
It's like,
I had a drug dealer who zettled me.
oh,
Can you believe that?
see, that's modernity.
That means he's got a trace of all of his transactions.
But so how does
somewhere.
that work for him?
I don't know, because I'm like, there's a trace now, which seems silly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what I guess they just know some money's transferred.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's stating.
They don't. Yeah, I hope he's not like, and I haven't itemized like the drugs. Thanks, winky face.
You're just thorough in your accounts, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong
Do
with
you
that.
not like? Do you
That's
not
a
have
business expense.
Yeah. Do you not like have a code for like bacon? You know,
Yeah.
like, you know?
Well, he had like business cards as well, party supplies, and then there's
Oh
a
my
picture of
God.
a
He
slide.
got his business
I hope he
card?
doesn't murder me. It's probably quite
Wow,
identifiable.
I'd so love it if your drugs turned up with a bouncy castle on the
Yeah.
slide. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. But I was a bit like, this is
What's
a bold
modernity?
move.
It's modernity.
It's a bold
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
So what
See,
you're saying is you're against it unless it's convenient.
unless it's
Yeah, yeah.
convenient.
But
Like,
I think
I
but
just
that is how fascism starts, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like everyone's just like, well, it works pretty well. As long as I'm not the group being
It's true, except if you make something easy for people, they'll go, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
but giving to someone who's homeless, say, oh, give me 50p for, a coffee. Like the amount of times and that I've walked past someone who's homeless asking for money, I'm like, oh, I have no money, because I don't use money anymore. I use my phone because I like magic.
Mm-hmm.
See, like we're talking about not understanding how science works. Like, it's just magic. I'm spending money mystically. It's so much fun.
But you could, so the people that like wait at traffic lights to wash your windscreen and stuff, they've got card readers now as well.
Yeah, everyone's got card
Yeah.
readers. They're everywhere.
It's great.
But you need them. It's like
yeah,
you
you do.
can't. Yeah.
Well,
I've seen homelessness initiatives where they've got
Yeah.
people
Yeah, you can. They
buy
give
Zettle
them up, but
donations. It goes
it's
to their caseworker or whatever.
it's still a thing, because then what becomes, again, like say for the homelessness situation, that can become taxable, and that can become traceable, and and then you start talking about social credit and everything, and then like having everything trackable is not a good thing. There should be things that no one's privy to.
Well, it's going to be interesting. This is a serious point someone talked about. And again, I'm not qualified to talk about this, but someone's saying apparently the construction industry is like heavily dependent on cash.
yeah.
And they really don't know the effect if they removed cash, whether it would actually cause collapse, because it's such a sort of, I don't know, it saves on tax, but they don't know how it interacts with the rest of the economy.
Yeah.
It can create these black holes or like mass emigration, because
People putting out
can't
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, not
Playing with forces we
everything
don't understand.
is conventional. And I mean, like if, oh gosh, I don't know how much I should say, but like I used to work in a sex shop. I used to be a manager for a sex shop, so we used to get a lot of ladies would come in and they worked a certain job, and
We know ladies.
Yeah,
We've seen them.
yeah.
Seen them
I
around.
don't know ladies.
Yeah.
But
What a progressive place.
but they would still pay tax. They would phone up and say like they're unmitigated. Like you can phone up HMRC and say, right, I want to pay taxes. You still got the credits, like
Yeah.
So there are fuzzy
That's never been illegal in the UK, is it?
No,
It's
but it's the-
brothels that are illegal.
Yeah,
I've heard.
yeah. but it's all very well. Boris got rid of loads of them. Anyway, I feel like we're going off on a tangent that maybe I shouldn't have done. I want to talk about me and my history and all the sort of things I've done.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's keep it light. Let's talk about the New World Order. So the New World Order is a term used in several conspiracy theories which hypothesize a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. The common theme about a New World Order is that a secretive power elite with a globalist agenda is conspiring to eventually achieve world domination and rule the world through authoritarian one world government, which will replace sovereign nation states and an all-encompassing propaganda whose ideology hails the establishment of the New World Order as the culmination of history's progress. Many influential historical and contemporary figures have therefore been alleged to be part of the secret group that operates through many front organizations to orchestrate significant political and financial events, ranging from causing systemic crisis to pushing through controversial policies at both national and international levels as steps in an ongoing plot to achieve world domination.
Yeah. But isn't that like every country?
Yeah, I mean,
That's like what every country's trying to do.
it kind of is pretty much what every country's trying to do. I think what they're saying, let's consolidate and do it in one hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it becomes oppressive.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think that is what is the point of this. Yeah.
yeah, like it goes from government to governance.
Yeah.
and that's different things. Well, the New World Order. One of the first people to talk about that was George Bush Sr.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think 1992, the very famous, you know, not the law of the jungle, but the New World Order,
Which is the start of Agenda 21, sort
Yeah.
of, wasn't it? That was the inception of it.
If you look at George Bush Sr., you can see all the things that he's been involved in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he probably was involved in Ronald Reagan getting shot at and stuff. You know, that's a conspiracy theory we can talk about.
He was a dodgy geezer, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Well, and all the presidents.
Well, they are.
Wasn't
yeah, but-
Nixon like fucked up South America, right?
Oh yeah, but he
Didn't
went into
try and
China,
kill
so it's
Castro and
I mean, Nixon's a whole can
Pinochet
of
and
worms.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of my favorite Futurama characters.
Nixon.
Oh, I love
Nixon and Walt Disney.
Not a crook.
Oh, yeah, it's just great.
He is a good character.
He is.
If Nixon is in an episode of Futurama, you know it's going to be
Is Nixon
good.
ahead? Is Nixon ahead? He is, yeah.
In the jar.
That's right.
But if you had to, so who are they saying is at the head of this? It's
So,
a shadowy figure.
So they're not actually saying one individual, but they're saying a number of So the UN is one of the organizations
Okay.
they're saying that are behind this movement. Also, the World Economic Forum.
So that would be America, essentially, is the one.
Yeah, kind of, but not necessarily. But certain individuals within America. So certain presidents, but not all presidents. I think Bush Jr. probably wouldn't have been switched on enough to be part of this.
I don't know. Bush Jr. was very much
We had Dick Cheney behind
He was just
him,
a bit puppet, wasn't he?
evil.
Puppeteer.
Yeah. So there are three main theories which are being raised against the main global sustainable development agenda. So there's the theory of the New World Order. This is a theory based on the idea of an elite formed by a small group of the most powerful people in the world, governs the destinies of the planet and for their benefit. So it's actually not just world leaders, it's also like corporations, major organizations that mostly tech, but not entirely. The second one is the Great Reboot. The Great Reboot theory was proposed in Davos after the pandemic and with the UN's Build Back Better vision. The theory focuses on the economic dimension. It suggests that an orchestrated plan by the most powerful countries to appropriate all the world's wealth. They claim the intentional creation of a pandemic to initiate their plan.
Smart.
Yeah.
How does that work? Wait, how do they get all our money?
That they're not specific on the detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Bear in mind, this is coming from the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the facts behind it. Just worry about the high level. Worry about the headline.
But none of the big billionaires got poorer during the pandemic.
That's
Everyone
true.
got
They did
richer.
get richer, yeah.
And it was the largest shift of wealth in the last 100 years. It was during the pandemic.
Wait, all the rich people got richer during the pandemic?
by a significant margin.
How did that work?
I now, if I knew that, look, I wouldn't be doing a podcast with you guys. I'd be rich.
Yeah. I got to get stinking rich.
I know,
That sounds
right?
great.
Right. You know, like, look, we just want to sell out. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe don't have that. I want to make people laugh, but I also want to buy every Barbie doll I've ever wanted.
Yeah. The third theory is the trickle-down communism theory. After the fall of the Soviet Union and knowing that communism could never take over the West, the left began a worldwide campaign to slowly insert its ideas into Western societies so that by the time the plan was discovered, the West would have embraced all the communist ideal without realizing it. So it's the left's fault, basically.
Yeah.
God damn.
A conspiracy theory is normally right wing or left
Well, that's the
wing, or
thing.
is it
'cause
pretty
when I
just
re-
both. It's just extremes on both
It's
sides.
extremes on both sides, exactly.
Yeah.
But when I read this, it does seem to swing quite significantly between far left and far right. It's
Great. It's inclusive.
Yeah, very inclusive.
God,
yeah.
bring on the new world order. Stop all this culture war bullshit.
Absolutely.
Everyone can chill the fuck out.
Let's hug.
Let's just enjoy fascism, man. Come on.
Oh, sure, it just be easier. They've got nice uniforms. It's
It's an
fine.
effective form of government. Right? It doesn't have to be racial cleansing.
No, everyone's in nice suits. Look at those boots.
That is the argument, though, isn't it? That they always say, like with the old kings and queens, they're like, if you get someone good, it's great.
Yeah.
And then it's just when they die, it all falls to shit.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, we got a fucking wrong one in, and now they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
We've all watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Joffrey.
Because that's exactly who I was thinking of. God, what a great death. I'm so glad when he died. Like, you fucking die.
I feel bad for the actor. He did such a good job that he's so universal.
Yeah, he never acted again.
He did.
How many seasons did he last?
3 or 4.
3. Like when by the time he, I mean, his death is probably my favorite of the whole show.
He's a child.
Yeah, because he was the kid in Batman Begins.
Oh, was he?
It's the Batarang.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Oh, now I know who you're talking about.
I
Okay,
kind of
okay.
was like, oh, I, and then when he was like, oh, he's this little shit. Like,
Wait, so Batman created Joffrey.
Batman created Joffrey. Definitely.
I never got into Game of Thrones because it looked like filth and squalor. No, it's just like the thing is like, if I get into this, I'm going to be addicted to it, and then I'm inevitably going to be let down at the conclusion.
Yeah,
and it turned out everyone was anyway.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my
painful.
gosh. Well, they
bad.
really.
And I had my fingers burned with Lost, and I'm like, I'm not going through that again.
Oh, that was the most traumatic show.
Oh.
But that went off the rails so quick.
It did, but then it started to pull it back, and then the end was just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it became God or something.
Yeah.
They're in purgatory. Spoilers.
I think everyone
No, it
knows
was
now.
just
Okay, yeah.
garbage. It was just garbage. They didn't know what they were doing, but that's the mystery box.
But they started because I think initially it was supposed to be 3 seasons, and they knew what the curve was. They knew where it was going to end up, and then obviously the network went, "This is doing well. Can you manufacture 3 more seasons in the middle of a writer's strike?" And they went, "Yeah, sure," and then had no idea how to conclude it.
Because my favorite season of Lost was season 2.
Yeah, season 2 was great.
Because Anna, Michelle Rodriguez was my absolute favorite character. I loved
Yeah,
her.
she was
And then
good.
what happened with her, I was like, oh my God. I don't want to ruin it because the first 3 seasons of Lost are worth your time, aren't they? Like they're good.
Remember, I only watched the first one, I think.
Season 2. Season 2 is really
Season
good.
2 is really good.
It's the you meet the tail passengers.
Huh?
So the plane
they
broke
split
into
off.
2, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
meet the other survivors on the other side of the island, and that blew my mind.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then it almost immediately went off the rails.
it almost. Yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah. So, Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 is a plan adopted by the United Nations in 2015 intended to help governments achieve various sustainable development goals by 2030. It's a plan which includes 17 global goals to do things like reduce inequality, end world hunger, and ensure access to clean energy for all. 8 years later, the progress of the 2030 agenda has fallen far short of expectations. Unfulfilled promises, lack of financing, the health crisis generated by COVID-19, the recent wars, and the global economy that has faced first recessionary and then inflationary pressures all have made the idea of finding common solutions to the problems afflicting the world lose momentum. However, that hasn't stopped speculation about it. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, conspiracy theorists and anti-government extremists have pointed to the plan as evidence that the global elites are plotting to enslave humanity, claiming the pandemic was orchestrated to hasten the implementation of the agenda.
But they want clean energy for everyone.
Yeah.
Huh?
It doesn't make sense.
This makes slavery sound great.
Yeah, well, I
Clean energy, food for everyone. And
Yeah.
what was the other thing?
clean energy,
some good
food
stuff
for
in there.
everyone. Equality.
Equality?
Yeah.
Yeah. But wait, including themselves?
Well,
Or amongst us, we'll be equal because we're all slaves.
this
That's
is where
the-
it kind of falls apart a bit
Yeah.
because you're right. How can you have equality when you've got a one world government?
slave state. That's
You've got
not
at least a
really-
2-tier system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Hmm.
Unless we take it in turns. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like a dance.
Yeah, I reckon people would do that.
Yeah.
They're very honourable.
Luke's having a
sort of
bash
things.
this week.
Yeah.
How's he going?
Well, that's like an incentive to be a good master, right? Yeah. But next week, bro, I've got the whip.
Slightly preoccupied by his new shoes, but other than that, he's doing a great job.
Yeah. What can I say?
So this kind of leads to the idea that the pandemic was orchestrated to hasten the implementation of the agenda. Essentially, the idea of wiping out part of the world's population leans into the Bill Gates conspiracy theory. You're aware of this? You aware of this one?
No, what's Bill Gates?
Okay, so the Bill Gates caused COVID-19 theory. The conspiracy theory that Bill Gates is behind COVID-19 alleges that the Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist Bill Gates engineered or intentionally released the coronavirus as part of a plan to control or manipulate the global population for profit or power.
Microsoft fucking sucks.
Well, wait till you hear the
Have you seen
facts.
Microsoft Windows? Impossible. There's no way they manufactured a fucking bug. Apple, yes.
Yeah. They
Bill
could've done.
Gates, no.
Yeah. Several variations of this conspiracy theory exist, but they often share common themes. So the vaccine agenda, one prominent aspect of the theory suggests that Gates orchestrated the pandemic to profit from the development and distribution of vaccines. Okay. Some claim that Gates aims to use the vaccines as a means of population control or to implement microchips for tracking individuals.
Oh, yeah.
Second one is population control. Another aspect posits that Gates is advocating for population reduction through various means, including the spread of diseases like COVID-19. This belief often stems from misconceptions about Gates's philanthropic efforts to improve global health and reduce poverty. So it's all a ruse.
I get it, yeah.
But there is that interview with Bill Gates where he's talking about the next pandemic, what we're going to do in the next pandemic.
So he knows.
Like it's already plotted out.
So he knows. He's on it.
that weird, like we just got out of everything with COVID. I hadn't yet got COVID, so I was still an innocent boy then. COVID is not a conspiracy theory because I nearly died from it. So and my lungs are screwed because of it. But him talking about the next pandemic did make me kind of worried. Also, he's a creepy troll of a human being.
Yeah.
Has he ever been found to do something dodgy? Or like...
Not yet, but would he? Like, would he ever?
He was on Epstein's Island and stuff.
Oh, he
and
was.
With all the boys.
Because I'll trust someone. I normally trust someone who's kind of a piece of shit publicly.
Yeah.
But they're like, this
Cards
is
on
who
the
I
table,
am.
yeah.
But someone who pretends to be philanthropists,
So
I'm generally like, what are you...
Trump truster, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Trump, I'm like, he probably is like that all the time. So you know what you're dealing with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you get tricked by him, that's your fault.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
he didn't lie.
Yeah.
I mean, he lied a lot, but you know he's going to lie.
He has put it all out there, hasn't he?
Yeah, so I'm like, look, he's a piece of shit. Don't trust him. But you know where you stand with that. Whereas someone like fucking Jimmy Savile, for instance, everyone was like, what a great philanthropist.
Oh my god.
True.
Shagging all the kids.
Yeah.
He was awful. But when you look at Jimmy Savile though, it's like he's clearly a pedophile. Like you look back at that footage, but he had him and Cilla Black had a stranglehold on popular entertainment growing up. No one realized she couldn't sing, and no one realized he was a bad person. You know,
But Jimmy Savile almost looks like a caricature of what a pedophile would
looks,
be.
Yeah.
A children's entertainer with a terrible haircut.
Now
and wacky
then,
clown clothes.
like my mom hated him growing up.
Yeah.
So Jim will Fix It was his big show. We did not watch that in the house, and yet that was quite a big ratings show. And I can't stand him. Can't stand him. That and Lemons. My mom can't stand Lemons.
Well, my gran used to be a nurse at Stoke Mandeville in the 60s and 70s, so when Savile was visiting a lot. And when I was a kid, I remember coming in when Jim Will Fix It was on, and she'd be like, "Oh, switch that man off, I don't like that man." But she took to people something else. She's like, I don't like that person. Yeah. So we just assumed it was that. Yeah. And then I wrote to Jim Will Fix It once when I was kind of 8 or 9 or something.
Oh no!
And my mum told my gran when we were around there, and she went mad at her. She went absolutely mad at her. She was like, "He's not going on that program. He's not going on that program." And we just thought she's just being
And were you just
weird.
like, "You bitch!
Yeah.
I want to go on Jim Will Fix."
I mean, Jimmy,
my dreams to come true.
Yeah. Why don't you love me? Or
yeah. But in fairness, Jimmy never wrote back, so I can't be a sexy enough kid. But the point is, she was saving me from something.
Yeah.
Oh god!
People knew.
Yeah.
It was
Well, good for her.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't actually overtly say it, but clearly she knew he was a dodgy dude.
But at the time, there were people that were working with him, seeing him do things, and they didn't say anything because of who he was, the standing he had. He hung out with Margaret Thatcher. He hung out with Prince Charles. Prince Charles was his friend. I know Prince Charles is now King Charles, and Margaret Thatcher's now in hell. But like, it's just, you know, he hung out with people of power.
He did.
Yeah. Now then.
Yeah.
Oh, where did that come from?
Okay, so just as a caveat, the claims against Bill Gates are entirely unfounded and lack credible evidence.
Oh, just looking at me, he's creepy. He
They're
stole everything.
trying to sway our thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm not falling for that.
Don't blame me, Jay.
Bill Gates is fucking
Melinda
demon.
Gates divorced him.
Wait, they're divorced.
Yeah.
I thought they were like a power couple.
They were for a long time.
So what are they doing now?
Well,
good terms,
Epstein Island.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is all unfounded.
She did quite well out of it. Don't worry. She's
I
fine.
imagine
Yeah, she's all right.
yeah.
You know, she's not raising 3 kids on her own in a council
Yeah.
estate. She's fine. You know.
And him and Musk are on like boys' nights out now.
Yeah.
Alimony
like
club.
Elon Musk.
Huh?
Yeah, I quite like Elon Musk.
The dude's crazy. In fairness,
Yeah,
though,
he's crazy.
he is somebody that he's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
'Cause he's actually he flags this stuff. Like he buys into some of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, really? But he'll know these guys. No,
Yeah.
wouldn't they invite him into the?
I think they think he's too much of a liability.
so.
'Cause he
Elon
likes
is
to
like
chat.
He's the hero. He's the good guy. If there was a movie, he'd be the main character.
Yeah, he'd be. I think he'd be a divisive. He'd be like an anti-hero. I think that's how you'd have him.
Because he's still an incredibly rich person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like he says he invented all these things and really he didn't, but he bought into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like
I don't like what he's done to my Twitter. Has got so much more extreme than what it used to be. It used to be fail videos. Now everyone's dying, and I'm like, I don't want to watch any of this.
on my Twitter feed, I get so many videos of people beating the shit out of each other, and I don't follow. I don't know where that's come
Yeah.
from. I don't know why.
Yeah.
like kids slapping each other, like to the. I'm, oh my god, I don't want to see this. I don't particularly like violence. You know.
No, me neither.
Maybe
like
Elon was like his friends are sending him too much porn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Needs
he'll
to
love this.
Well, yeah.
He'll love this
Dog.
shit. Yeah.
You know.
The algorithm knows you.
Wait until he gets a load
all
of
I
this.
want are clips of horror movies and cartoons. That's all I want. And
Oh yeah, they're going to
Donna.
think you're a deviant.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolute deviant.
One of the things on Twitter that they've started doing, I don't know who makes little clips, but like they'll show you the biggest scene of a horror movie, like, you know, and you're like, well, if you're watching this horror movie, it's ruined now, you know, and I object to. No spoilers.
That's your main gripe.
About Twitter?
Yeah.
The New World Order. All the goddamn spoilers.
No spoilers.
Cut it out, fascist Twitter.
Well, speaking about spoilers, have you got anything about the Georgia Guidestones?
No, go for it, go on.
So the Georgia Guidestones have been destroyed, but for the longest time there were, I think it was 7 carved stone tablets, you know, sort of like 2001 A Space Odyssey, the monolith, that's sort of like that. And it was definitely evocative of that. It just appeared up in Georgia. Suddenly this monument appeared in Georgia. I think it was 1994, and it had all these instructions about what the world was going to do, the Agenda 2030, effectively, about, you know, decimating the population of the earth and everything. And it was like, oh, this is a guidance. Who set it up? No one knows who set it up, or at least it's not clear who set it up. And then about 2 years ago, just after the pandemic was over, they got bulldozed out of the blue. So they appeared and disappeared. Like they weren't just like a flimsy thing. These could have survived a very long time. I feel like I'm talking to myself here because
No,
you've heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
No, I haven't heard of them. But
they talk all about the Agenda 2030, and it's about depopulating the earth.
so they were standing up until very recently.
Yeah, and they were taken down.
When there's supposed to be a guide
Yeah, the
if
Georgia.
you want to, get rid of the population.
Yeah, what they were going to do, it was by like I think it's 7. Like they had a number of how many people should exist on Earth, and it was in the. You know, the millions, whereas like there's 7 billion of us on this planet right now. Like, and then we're saying brain.
So this thing's basically saying if we get it down to 1 million, everyone can be like a millionaire, and then life would be. I mean,
well, actually, now that you put it that way,
one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you know,
Fuck.
I believed in a
1%.
I didn't believe in a cashless society till I started doing it.
Luke's quite young, so that's how we used to have to document
Thank
things
you.
back in the day. Like, we had to carve them in stone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
You
just the way it was
fucking-
back in the 90s. What can I say?
God damn, that sounds bad.
So what do the conspiracy theorists think is going to happen? So they think that the agenda essentially is going to force citizens to eat insects instead of meat, confine the world's
Wait, what?
Yeah, we did a whole episode on this.
That was our
That was
first
our
episode.
first
That was with
episode.
Louise Atkinson.
But they've tried doing that. I remember when they tried.
Oh, yeah, they
I
are.
know a guy who's trying to start a startup in insect protein, and it's fine.
Well, there was an EU legislation that has to state that bugs are part of a lot of prepackaged food because inevitably, in some way, elements of bugs get into it because of the process or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kicked off the conspiracy theory that it's specifically the EU, but generally organisations like that are trying to move us to a diet of eating bugs.
And like mind control bugs.
Yeah.
What's the...
No, not specifically. They haven't stated that, but
Well, we're not gotten there yet.
Yeah, we're not,
Okay,
They're starting us off like low, like
Yeah.
bits of bugs, and then eventually
Bloody
we'll build up
bugs.
to
Who cares about eating bugs?
that. Protein.
Well, but the thing with bugs is we have human beings can have a stronger allergic reaction to it. So you've heard about like allergies to like lobster and crab. You know,
Yeah.
What's that allergy called? It's not seafood. It's crustaceans. You know, you can't have those. Well, basically, insects are
Even worse.
land versions of that. So we have to be very, very careful. And there is the argument that
population control.
population
Yeah.
control. Because it can be very severe allergies.
I mean, if you eat like a scorpion,
yeah,
but that's
Well,
poisonous.
You know,
Just don't do that.
I mean, scorpions have been part of the human diet. Tarantulas are part of the human diet.
I ate a scorpion.
Did you?
Me too.
Disgusting.
Oh, did you not like it?
Well, I ate it, like they just gave it to me like I don't know if it'd been fried or what, but it was like crunchy, but not in like a
fun way?
No, it was like plastic, and then it was just really bitter on the inside.
Where was this? East London.
Yeah, it was at my mum's house. I come from a rough upbringing.
Bethel Green. No.
I've heard that about
There's
it.
no
that's why-
bad time to have eaten your scorpions. So I got such a strong immune system. No, is it? I think it was in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's like they just do it as a joke. They're like,
I feel like they do that for the tourists. They're like, oh yeah, we eat
that
these.
shit.
We definitely
Yeah.
use chocolate covered.
Maybe they're part of the New World Order.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Well,
The food's fucking delicious.
I've had chocolate covered ants.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
good.
that sounds yummy.
Yeah,
like, and they're crispy little.
Well, when I
things,
first
imagine.
moved to London,
Mostly because they're covered in chocolate. Let's face
when I
it.
first moved to London,
helpful, yeah.
there was a section in Selfridges. Other department stores are available, and there was a section in Selfridges where it was eat like chilled worms and whatever. And have you eaten the worm? And I imagine you're the person that's finished the tequila bottle and had the worm.
Oh, I don't like the maggot thing
Yeah.
at the
Thing
bottom.
at the
Yeah, It's stupid of you.
I've
Not in one sitting.
No,
Well, maybe I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
slugged it and
Yeah.
have it.
Although I read a horrible story about a guy whose brain he like ate a slug.
Oh, that kid
And
in
his
Australia.
fucking brain melted,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was daring. He
Had a parasite that
and
ate
it
his
killed
brain.
him. Oh, he had a horrible death. This kid in Australia was they'd been just drinking. Kids, he's like 14, had a couple of drinks. Oh, dare you to eat that slug? So he did, and it killed him.
Sure would have been that kid when I was younger.
Those are the effects of alcohol. It will kill you.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's bad. We'll cut that out. Shit, that's-
But I think the Lion King. I mean, maybe the Lion King's in on this because you know that when they eat all the bugs, they look fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then Timon and Pumbaa are chowing down. You're just like,
Yeah.
maybe that's what.
Do you see
why
that's
we're
part of the
programmed-
agenda? Was
yeah.
that 1994?
Yeah.
Well,
Lion
that's
King?
Yes,
that's
true.
pretty.
Links
Yeah.
in.
See, this,
And what does Scar do with the jackals? And they all become it is jackals.
the hyenas.
Hyenas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it wrong. Jackals is the omen. That's anyway. Sorry, my brain's all over the place.
I love the way you got those two mixed up.
Yeah. the jackal community is going to have a field day.
Oh, yeah.
But the
Misgendered us, misspecied us.
the hyenas, like Scar is one of my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of love Scar. Sorry.
Scar's great. He's the most
pretty sexy
charismatic guy
badly.
in a very charismatic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other two theories that they think is going to happen, as well as the bugs eating, is confine the world's population to neighborhoods where they cannot leave without the permission. They cannot leave without permission under 15-minute cities.
Yeah, which is happening. Oxford was a 15-minute city.
Wait, what's a 15-minute city? What does that mean?
Everything that you need is within 15 minutes. And you're not allowed to go any further than that.
That's every city, surely.
It's not about convenience, it's about you can't go beyond those perimeters.
Oh.
And that happened in Oxford.
Oh, I don't like that.
And even to the point of roads cut off. So where I live in London, they cut off a load of roads like 6 years ago.
Yes, this happened in Brixton, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, it doesn't help. It creates more car pollution, but why are they doing that? It's because they don't want you to have a car. They don't want you to be moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we come into automated cars, like, there's cars that won't start because you didn't pay a subscription.
Yeah.
And they're taking that away. There's farming vehicles, tractors and what have you that you can't repair. Like when I grew up, Northern Ireland's a fairly rural community. It's a farming community essentially, and I grew up and I remember one guy, a friend of mine's dad, was fixing his tractor, and he had car parts in there, and he made something from it sculpted its own bit to keep it going.
Custom job tractor.
Yeah. But it was
tractor.
Yeah, and it was great. It was great, and now that can't happen. You have to get the parts from the
Unless you buy Chinese stuff, which is hilarious. They got their own screws, and you're just like, what? Why have you? This is really annoying.
They're just doing that to fuck with us.
But if everything was to go wrong tomorrow, getting off the point there, but if everything was to go wrong tomorrow, to have that such unique things, like we'd just lose it, and then it'd be just
sad.
We'd be back to the Stone Age.
Well, the reason this has sort of come about more prominently in the last few years is partly because of COVID and the bubbles and the zone system. So like you were confined to literally 15 minutes from your house, right? You couldn't leave that zone. You were tied to that. So therefore everything had to be convenient. Everything had to be immediate. So there's a theory that was testing the water for this concept.
Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
But it is convenient.
Yeah.
Especially with the single currency thing.
Like convenient.
Yeah.
Worried I'm into this.
Yeah.
It's like
Love it. We send Luke out converted. Off you go.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. I'm not yet to hear the negative side of absolute social control and dominance. I'm a fascist. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Take these red curtains down now, George.
We're all going to become the human race in the movie WALL-E.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I want my hover chair. I got to be real. I'm
good.
already practically the size of it anyway.
The third one is to feminize men to reduce the world population.
But when they masculinize, but you could come at it both ways.
Yeah, you could.
You could say, you're masculinizing. But really?
Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. Just so
Feminizing women.
They're turning the frogs gay, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's essentially yeah. So who?
But does that not make everyone? Doesn't that run the risk? If you start making men femme and femme men, you run the risk of everyone being able to mate with everyone. Is that not a danger? If everyone becomes a hermaphrodite, I'm just saying that's something the revolution could look into. Like snails, where you just choose who uses which bit.
Oh, well, I mean,
that'd be great. That would also be gender equality.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our erogenous zones everywhere.
Well, yeah.
It's nice to have
Be great.
options.
Yeah, if I could get both.
Yeah.
When the surgery gets good enough to have both working full blammo,
Okay.
I'm in.
Good. All right.
I'm in.
We're slowly reshaping Luke's worldview.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm a fascist and I'm coming out as trans right now. 50 years I'll come out as trans.
We kind of thought that was going to happen anyway.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah.
I'm going to look gorgeous compared to that. You look fucking great compared to her.
So what fueled the Great Reset conspiracy? The Great Reset can refer to a number of things. The World Economic Forum's founder and executive chairman Klaus Schwab co-authored
You
a
can't
book.
trust someone called chairman.
Oh, honestly, have you seen a picture of this dude?
No, what does he look like? Horns.
Imagine a Bond villain, but stereotypical and really not well written. That's what Klaus Schwab is.
Scar on the eye, fluffy cat.
He talks with a German accent. I
Oh,
don't
no.
know. He wears ridiculous outfits. Like, Google him.
Yeah.
It's like this is a parody.
Imagine if you already look like a Bond villain and then you thought, I'm really going to lean into this to the most extreme level.
I'll be leader of the world.
Yeah. Something called the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, sounds good.
He co-authored a book by that same name, which discusses how the world's political, business and social institutions may wish to address pre-existing geopolitical concerns, such as global warming in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. The World Economic Forum also launched the Great Reset Initiative in 2020, which it says aims to urgently build the foundations of our economic and social system for a fairer, sustainable, and more resilient post-COVID future.
Which has the catch line. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yeah. Oh. This is a real thing as well. This is an actual,
not us making it up.
Yeah, that's an actual
You'll own nothing and you'll be
happy.
Yeah.
But that's like the sort of, that was communists thing for a while, wasn't it? It was like, it's good. Like Bernie Sanders said that thing that he got slated when he was like, it's good if you're queuing up for your bread.
Yeah.
No, I want to have everything. And it's mine. You can't touch it. Like it's like what Dawn French used to advertise Terry's chocolate orange, and she used to say, it's not Terry's, it's mine. And I'd be like, girl, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You're not getting any of mine. I will buy you some.
Yeah.
I know Phil doesn't eat chocolate. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'll buy you some, but you're not having any of mine. It's all mine. And that's the way I feel about that.
I have to say, I think we've always had a suspicion that Dawn French is a fascist.
We love you, Dawn French.
In her eyes.
Dawn, you should come on and disabuse of us.
Yeah, please.
Of this.
Come and challenge us.
Dawn French is a fascist. We want to find out. And she should come on and defend that.
So World Economic Forum events have been themed around the Great Reset, and a video featuring Prince Charles was released to mark its launch. The World Economic Forum's website has a whole section about it, and it has published numerous articles and podcasts about revamping capitalism to help avoid another depression following the economic downturn due to COVID-19. While the Great Reset is a real thing and faced genuine criticism for what it purports to be, Prince Charles at the World Economic Forum in 2020 said, "We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path." And he just recovered from COVID-19 at that point. He said that the pandemic, which had forced governments worldwide to mothball their economies, had showed people that dramatic change was possible. Charles's speech was the part of a launch event for the Great Reset, a project involving the WEF and the Prince of Wales Sustainable Markets Initiative, aimed at rebuilding the economic and social system to be more sustainable.
So that's Prince Charles, who's now King Charles.
Who's now king.
Who's the brother of Prince Andrew.
Correct.
So we're meant to trust someone whose brother would do things like that.
Correct.
Just to be clear.
So do you feel like the timing of this,
I was
right?
just thinking what my brother's done.
Yeah, I'm being
going to
a dick.
keep quiet on this one.
The timing of this.
He's a good man.
He was a good man.
He was a good man.
The timing of this speech, right? And to be honest, the timing of naming some at that point where everyone is feeling quite vulnerable, right? We're talking about September 2020, a time people don't know when the pandemic's going to end. We don't know when the vaccine's going to come about. People can't work, people can't see their families, and they're coming out. The world leaders, very important, very influential people at this time, and saying, "Do you know what? We should all do things differently." Yeah. Is it just that they got the tone wrong with this? They got the timing wrong, the tone wrong, the judgment wrong.
Their lives aren't going to change.
Yeah,
our
exactly.
lives.
That'd be really unfortunate. Guys, I've given off a really fascist vibe. I'm sorry, I know the election's coming up soon. I just panicked. I don't know. I said it wrong. I don't know. I just trumbled along. Just like, guys, I've done it again. I actually have the best intentions. I've caused an insurrection. I don't know how.
There's a vibes every time.
Telling them how great everything is.
What do you like? Other speeches and statements have fueled the conspiracy. For example, a speech made by Lord Ahmed, the Minister for South Asia and Commonwealth at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, which is also from September 2020. In the short speech, he talks about how the pandemic has exposed our vulnerabilities and that whilst we remain committed to tackling its immediate impacts, we must also seize this opportunity to create greener, healthier, more inclusive and resilient economies and societies, and to accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. There is nothing in the speech that suggests the pandemic is being used to speed up Agenda 2030. Outside the speech, there was no evidence that the COVID-19 is being used to usher in rules that will enslave humanity as part of Agenda 2030. Well, I mean, there wouldn't be, would there? Other fact checkers have assessed general conspiracy theories about Agenda 2030, namely claims that it will create a world government or a new world order. There is no credible evidence for these claims.
It just makes me suspicious when it adds those.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is batshit. Then they say that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why are they trying to get in my head here?
Why are they defending this thing that I also think is mental?
Yeah. I'm very easily swayed. That's what I'm learning about this.
So one Facebook post at the time, this is back in 2020, used genuine screenshots from the UK government's website that referred to Agenda 2030. The Facebook post also included a screenshot from a white paper about the fourth industrial revolution that mentions artificial intelligence, gene editing, and advanced robotics.
Wait, there's been 3 industrial revolutions.
Yeah, apparently.
When did those happen?
Oh man, you were asleep.
Oh, shit. I need to pay attention.
It's not clear what the post is implying by including this, but genome editing, which is where the DNA inside a cell is changed in human eggs, sperm, or embryos, is strictly regulated in the UK. It can't be done as part of IVF, and if it is used in research, it has to be specifically licensed by authorities.
So you can't get a designer baby.
Can't get a designer baby.
Well, what's the fucking point?
Exactly.
Isn't that what everyone wanted?
Well, you can't you like you can order
pick my own. I want Sims in real life.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of where we're heading with it though, right?
Yeah.
That is the.
Yeah, I don't want that responsibility because I always made the characters as goofy as possible. I shouldn't have a child and be
Okay,
like,
so they can rule you out.
I'm gonna make him green and give him a nose like a witch. Like,
okay, that's the thing because they were considering you for that job. I think,
I think so.
Luke's not interested.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we're clear, doesn't want that responsibility.
But I don't understand. But all of this stuff is about sustainability. That's the goal of the fascists.
Yes. That's the problem, is that it is so contradictory to itself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we want to reduce the population, but we want to make it easier for people to live and greater levels of equality and better levels of healthcare. So
they want to make it easier for them to live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a big club and we're not part of it.
Right. Okay. And we're going to be killed.
We are just
so that
fodder.
they can.
Yeah. COVID was just like just wiping out the old people. The next one.
Getting the young. Well, maybe this is what the war's about. That's how you get the young people.
Yeah.
The war.
Yeah.
Also, is Russia the good guys then? Are they fighting the UN?
No, I think
because they love oil.
They do love oil,
and boy, do they hate the UN.
Yeah, they do really hate.
So
the
are they
UN.
the heroes, and we're just like the fucking. We've been brainwashed by the Empire, and they're.
Well, I would say we've been
Are they
brainwashed.
Luke Skywalker and shit?
Oh God, no! I don't think Russia's Luke Skywalker. I mean, but
they don't seem it.
I mean, there is an argument to say we're in the Third World War, which is a really great thing to start talking about with 2 minutes left of the podcast.
Absolutely. So George, Third World War. Another hour on this. So, in conclusion, the notion that the United Nations is plotting to kill us through Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 is a fallacious conspiracy theory lacking in substance and credibility. Sustainable development, as outlined in Agenda 21, is a noble endeavour aimed at safeguarding the planet and improving the well-being of its inhabitants. Either way, rather than succumbing to fear and misinformation, let us focus our efforts on constructive dialogue and evidence-based solutions to the real challenges facing humanity. Only through collaboration and cooperation can we hope to build a sustainable future for generations to come.
Okay.
Says ChatGPT.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of 5G chat.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
What that sounds
Can't
like.
trust that shit, let me tell you. That logic.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.
So, do we think the UN's trying to kill us?
Yes, but only because every government's trying to kill us.
That's pretty insightful, actually. Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean, I don't think this. I don't think.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
I don't
Pass.
think.
Maybe I should do 2 takes and then whoever wins.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's go again.
Look, I just want
Is the UN trying to kill us?
Oh, absolutely not. I just want to make sure I'm okay. Really. I'm
You're
sorry.
covered. You're
I don't know.
covered.
Yeah.
I have to I personally think the UN is a massively flawed institution, but what it represents is kind of important. Like, it needs to be there as a representation, even though it's terrible at doing its job a lot of the time.
So you're saying it's a Spice Girl?
I just don't think they have the level of they don't have the level of organization or the urgency to actually do this anyway. They don't do a lot, but what they represent is more important than what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a good idea.
Yeah.
But in practice, they're a bit
Yeah.
not.
Therefore, I don't think this would ever come about because they just never get round to doing it.
But you think they want to do it?
I mean, I think they've got some ideas.
I mean, listening to Klaus Schwab, you're like, yeah, he's a Bond villain. Like, it's a
Chairman
yeah.
Klaus
Just
Schwab. Is that his name?
That is, yeah.
ridiculous. Look him up. You will be like, oh, this guy can't be for real.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is.
Lord Emperor Klaus Schwab.
Oh, totally.
Although
Sounds
now that
pretty good.
you've decided on a new political regime, you might stick a poster up on your wall on this.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Could
a
definitely be a phone
wise,
background.
strong leader.
Good. So now we converted. Luke, would you like to look into this camera, Luke, and tell people where they can find you, what you're doing?
No. No, I won't. They'll fucking trace me. Hey, find me on Instagram, Luke Chilton Comedian, or my website, lukechiltoncomedian.com. I've got a bunch of whip shows and an Edinburgh show in August. Come. They're mostly free, which is pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're a great comedian.
Thank you. That's very cute of you to say. Also, if you love conspiracy theory, it's all about paranoia and stuff. So very good.
Go and see Netflix and Chilton or whatever the fuck it's going to be
Yeah.
called by August.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like a United Nations joke to end the podcast?
Oh,
You
yeah.
wouldn't believe.
Okay. I always tell people I work for the United Nations. It's a better way of saying I'm unemployed.
UN employed.
See?
Yeah.
See? You're on board.
Yeah, but that doesn't work unless you read it.
All right.
Do you know, like, you know,
That's the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. The more lovely subscribers we get, the more episodes we'll make. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok for regular updates and exclusive videos at BelieveConspiracyPod. We love you. Bye!